All right,
And
everybody.
we're recording.
We are recording and we are live. Hey, everybody in YouTube land. How are you doing today? All right, so for the YouTube people, thanks for tuning in. Looks like we have about maybe 12 people, if I can see correctly. We're all set up here to do the YouTube live, and then we're going to record the next episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. So,
Yes.
everybody ready?
Let's do.
All right. Hey, everybody, this is Cool Daddy Slick Breeze here at the Disc Golf Answer Man, and I'm with Eric EIO McKay. I got nothing.
Got nothing today.
I got nothing.
I knew you were going to run out eventually.
I'll think of something next week. I just hadn't thought about it. I had so much stuff going on. Anyway, so, and then as you can see, we have a special guest, Denise Cameron. As we mentioned last week, we were going to talk to her about the Women Global event that's going on May 10th. And so Eric and I thought it was pretty important to get more women involved in disc golf, and so we wanted to stand behind the Women's Global event. And we thought, well, hello, Denise wants to run one here in Emporia, so why not get some info from her? So how are you doing, Denise?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what is the whole Women's Global event.
Okay, so the Women's Global event, the first one was done in 2012, started by Valerie Jenkins. Most people know that name in the women's disc golf world.
Yeah.
I think it was also with the PDGA Women's Committee was involved in that one too. So the first event was 2012. It wasn't done in 2013, but basically it gets together women from all over. The first year it was, 41 events, 24 states, and 4 countries.
Wow.
So that's pretty impressive. And it's basically just a women's tournament on a global scale. Biggest event for one demographic in PDGA event history.
Nice.
That's huge.
So that's pretty awesome. And it goes by your round rating instead of actual scores. So that's how they're able to combine it for all these different events.
Yeah.
And 2 rounds. So it can be in, conjunction with if someone's running A tier, B tier, C tier at their local course, all you have to do is have it signed up as a women's global event as well, and then those women can participate.
Cool. Well, I know we always talk about getting behind doing women's in disc golf and things like that. But from a woman's point of view, tell us, excuse me, got something in my throat. Tell us from a woman's point of view why it's important to get more women playing disc golf.
Well, women are a pretty small percentage when it comes to members of the PDGA, and I think part of growing the sport is having women that are a little bit more involved with the sport and, take full advantage of what it has to offer. It's awesome to see a ton of women out there on the course playing recreationally, but I think you really get, you take a lot and you benefit a lot from getting involved with the disc golf community and some of the events that go on, and I think it's an important step in growing the sport. And plus, those of us women that are already here, I think we'd love to see some bigger divisions and just have more people to play with. I think that would be awesome. So this event is definitely a good push towards getting more women involved.
Cool. So tell us now, what about your event that's going on that you're doing for the Women's Global event?
Well, I wanted to participate. I participated in the 2012 event, and at the time when I looked to get involved, there wasn't one in any surrounding area within a few hours radius. So I said, well, I might as well run one then. That way, at least the few local women that I've met in Emporia can come out and play, and hopefully we get a few more. As soon as I mentioned it, Dynamic Discs was fantastic about backing me up and wanting to help, and they actually kind of revived an old tournament that they used to do at Peter Pan Park called Revenge of the Monkey.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not just for women. Anyone can play this event, but it is also going to be part of the Women's Global event. So
cool.
I would like to add that it's the weekend after the Glassbone Open, and we are using Peter Pan this year for the Glassbone Open. So I'm really excited about the Women's Global event being the following weekend because the course is going to look spectacular.
Yeah, it already looks really nice. I'm excited. Hopefully that entices more people to come out.
Now, if people want to come play that event, where do they go?
You can register on the PDGA. Like for ours, for instance, actually you could go to the Dynamic Disc website and sign up through there. If you want to find an event near you that you can play, just go on the PDGA website. It's actually, if you go to pdga.com/women, there's information on the event, kind of a lot of what I'm going over here some of the history of it, all the current events that are registered, and the usual page that you would go on to check out events for May has a huge listing. It's kind of cool.
Nice.
It's like the women's global events took over the
Yeah,
page.
it's
for
pretty
that,
cool. They're
that
all
weekend.
pink.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I saw that.
PDGA. Yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah, so good stuff there.
So is it too? I guess if someone was thinking about running one, is it too late to try to put one together? I mean,
Oh, that's a good question. I did see something. I think there definitely is a deadline of some sort,
okay,
but unfortunately, I did not do my homework on that one.
it's okay.
Well, we're still 3 weeks out, so
Yeah.
now would be, if you're thinking about doing it, now would be a time to really get involved and make sure you can get that done.
Yeah, and as long as the events don't fill, I don't see why, it would necessarily.
Yeah.
be
And I
an
know the Revenge of the Monkey is both men and women, even though we're
Yep.
encouraging women to come. So it doesn't have to be a women-only event, right?
Oh no, that's what I was saying. You can kind of, if there's already an event going on,
Mm-hmm.
even if there's just one woman who says, I want to be part of the global event,
And they can.
That can
guys bring your
happen.
girlfriends and wives and
Yeah.
daughters and
Yeah.
everyone out.
bring
It'd be great.
everybody.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, Denise. Is there anything else you want to share about it?
Yeah, I just wanted to share some of the stats. I mean, I guess I covered some of it, but I just want to talk about how 2014 has already broken all the records.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a 2012 event.
Yeah.
Started. I mean, because you had 41 events the first year. They're up to already 59.
Wow.
There's more states. Originally, it was 24. There's more states already. Originally, 4 countries already. At least I counted 6. I just went through the list real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first one had 636 women in 15 divisions. Right now, they're up to 902 in 16 divisions.
Awesome.
So that's
16
pretty
divisions.
impressive to have, over 900 women
No kidding. That's
for this
awesome.
one big global event. So
Well, good deal. Well,
it's
guys.
exciting stuff.
Yeah, you guys, if you're out there, make sure you encourage your lady, your woman, to get out there and go to the PDGA site and find out if there's a women's global event taking part near you, and get out there and help her participate in the sport that we all love. So, all right, well, thank
Yep.
you very much,
Fun
Denise.
for everybody.
Yeah, appreciate
thanks
that.
for having me.
All right, we're gonna let Denise exit and get back to work. So, thanks again, Denise, and I'll see you when I go back to work over there.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, cool. All right, YouTube listeners, we're going to kind of transition, have Denise leave, get Eric over here. Eric and I are going to get close like we like each other.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thanks, YouTube viewers, for hanging in there while we kind of transition. So, all right, we're going to move to,
I like the new setup.
you like that? Yeah, it's kind of different. The table's long ways instead of
Long ways.
long ways. What would you say? It's
Length.
lengthways?
Long ways instead of lengthways.
Okay, we'll go with
Yeah,
that.
so whatever.
So yeah. Anyway, so all right, so let's move on to the let's talk about some product.
Okay.
What do you say? So
That's
last time
my
we
favorite.
told you guys that we would talk about the Trilogy discs, and these are the discs that are going to be in the Trilogy Challenge. I just realized our setup kind of doesn't allow me to show. I guess you can see a little bit of it.
You can still see
You
the
can
disc
still
at
see it.
least.
So, okay, so anyway, so the Trilogy Challenge, as you see the stamp on here, is a challenge event that we've set up for people to be able to run either organization or you can host one yourself. And it allows you to promote the sport in your area. It also allows you to have a way to raise funds for your club or organization. And these are the 3 discs that are unreleased. You can't get them unless you play in a Trilogy Challenge. And one thing I noticed that a lot, as we're getting closer to the time, people are saying things like, "Oh, I wish a Trilogy Challenge was closer to my area. Now I have to drive 2 hours to get to one."
Yeah, I've heard
Well,
that
hey,
so many times.
yeah.
Why don't you run one?
Run a Trilogy Challenge, host one. It really isn't that hard. You go to trilogychallenge.com, and we make it pretty easy for you to be able to get your event registered and get things going, and you can have an event at your place, at your local park, and have some fun with all these discs. So,
And what's great about it is you can do anything. I mean, if you want to make up your own game, with the Trilogy Challenge, there's no right or wrong way to run an event, and they're great fundraisers for if you want to save money for a tournament that's coming up, or if course improvements, or even yourself as a TD, if you just want to raise some money for yourself, then this Trilogy Challenge is a great way to do it.
So yeah, you can do 1 rounds, 2 rounds, doubles, any way you want to do it. And we give you packages with discs
Yep.
and lanyards and koozies and towels, and then we give you a prize pack that you can give out to people and stuff like that. So
Let's talk about these discs a little
yeah,
bit.
so we're going to start with the Shield. And
The
the Shield
Shield.
is from Westside, and it's the putter.
Yes, and it's in the BT medium, which is also similar to the classic blend plastic is what it's in. And it doesn't really have much of a bead on it. It's kind of a little rounded at the bottom. I would almost consider it a micro bead.
Okay.
It's got a great feel to it. For me, it's not going to be a putter that makes my bag, but it very well could be a throwing putter that makes my bag. It's stable. It's not quite as overstable as, say, a Judge. I'd say it's somewhere in between a Judge and a Warden as far as stability goes, but it's got a very predictable flight. And it's not too deep of a putter. Just it's an all-around pretty straight flying when you're putting with it putter.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Feels good.
Have you had a chance to throw that one yet?
I actually have not had a chance to throw the Shield. I've thrown the other ones, but not the Shield.
Well, the Claymore is the mid-range from Latitude 64, and there's been a lot of hype about this disc. A lot of people are very excited to get one of these in their hands and try them out. I got a chance to go out and throw them quite a bit, and it's a pretty good disc. It's pretty straight.
Mm-hmm.
It finishes left, so it's slightly stable. It almost has a small diameter feel to it.
Yeah.
The rim is not too big, so it's really easy to grip. And if you have smaller hands or it doesn't feel like it's just massive in your hand, it's really easy to hold on to. What were your thoughts when you threw it? Because I know you've had a chance to throw the Claymore.
I was it went pretty straight for me and had a nice fade at the end, which I like. I don't know that it will replace anything I already have on my disc, just because I have a lot of already in my disc.
Yeah.
But I could see somebody that's maybe it could fit in somebody's disc. I know that out at the Bowling Green, a lot of people were liking it, and a lot of the amateurs out there were really liking it.
And I think a lot of that is also due to it's a new disc,
right?
And everyone's all hyped up about new plastic and new discs that coming out, and these three are, for a lot of other challenges out there that have new discs come out, they're not the best quality of discs, but these three discs are solid.
Yes,
they're going to make people's bags for sure. And from our line, the DD line, is the Thief, and it's I would consider it a pretty decent fairway driver. Like the Claymore, it's going to be coming in biofusion and recycled plastic. So to talk about this one a little bit, what would you say? Because I know you've had a chance to throw the Thief, and I know you are in love with this disc.
The Thief is the one that will go in my bag. I don't have a strong arm, but I can get some distance with this one, unlike other discs, because when I let go of it, I can let go of it right about here.
Which is a slight hyzer.
Yeah, slight hyzer, and I can get it to stand up and glide, and that glide really helps it get out there, and then it'll do its normal fade at the end. Yep. So yeah, I can definitely get this and the Witness are the two new discs that will definitely go into my bag.
For me, what I've noticed, I think the Thief will be in my bag on more tightly wooded courses.
Oh, really?
Something I can hyzer flip up and let it fly pretty straight to. It's pretty straight to understable for my arm, but it's a great get out of jail disc. If you're in the woods and you need a nice little sidearm out, nice and easy toss, it's really great for that. I'm pretty excited to get this disc out more and work with it a little bit more. For me, I thought it flew kind of like an easier to throw, slightly less stable Escape, slightly slower Escape. So great disc, gonna be a great disc. I'm very excited for all three of the Trilogy Challenge discs, and I really think it's cool on the front on the logos. Whatever it's got the normal Trilogy stamp on it, but whichever disc it is has their logo at the top. I thought that was pretty cool how they decided to do that.
And I actually met the guy at Bowling Green that designed this.
Nice.
He was pretty cool. He was excited to see his logo creation on a bunch.
Cool. How long until you think we see this on someone's arm?
Oh.
So we see a tattoo from somebody.
I see a challenge out there.
I think I accept your challenge.
I accept your challenge. No, not me.
Uh,
No, I'm not
yeah.
gonna get a tattoo. But
No,
yeah,
this is great though. Yeah, I'm very excited about these 3 discs, and I believe it's August when you are going to be able to get them in other plastics, and
Yeah.
because that's when the Trilogy challenges end, and I believe the first one is set for May 31st.
I believe so. Yep.
So
Cool. Awesome. All right, well, guys, make sure you go to trilogychallenge.com to find out more information about the Trilogy Challenge and all the new unreleased discs that will be
and
part of it.
run one in your area. I
Post
guarantee you, it's
You will-
so easy to do. And it's a great fundraiser, like we
Yeah.
said. It's well worth running the Trilogy Challenge at your home course.
You won't be disappointed.
Not at all.
All right, so usually we skip on to questions, but we have some other things to show people.
We do? We do. What do we got?
First, we got reporting to duty
Reporting to duty.
is the cadet bag.
The cadet.
These are sweet.
Oh man, these are so awesome. Nice, great quality bags too. I haven't really had a chance to, mess with them a whole lot since we just got them in yesterday and today.
Yeah, I was helped unload this morning's shipment.
The couple containers came in, but man, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 discs in this cadet bag.
Yes, and it's got a little zipper up here, and a little zipper so you can store maybe your wallet or your cell phone or some other things. You can close them up so they won't fall out. You got storage on the side here.
Yep.
Over this side, so you can put drinks
Drink
or
holder.
drinks or Gatorade or whatever you need. And I've seen some people that this is about all they would want.
Yeah.
This would be their only bag they'd need.
I know a lot of people play Glow,
Yeah.
and this is a perfect bag for people that just want to go out with 5 to 10 discs and a bunch of glow lights and some tape and just go out and have a good time playing some Glow. I've seen some people say, hey, that cadet bag would be great to go out and just for a Glow round, or maybe a shorter course round, or if you want to go out and work on your mid-range game,
Well, yeah.
slap this bad boy full of all your mid-ranges and just go on out. How much does this thing cost, Bobby?
This thing is. How much would you pay for something like this?
Oh man,
Just a nice little bag to take with you.
It's great. And not to mention, it comes in how many different colors?
It comes in 5
different
colors.
colors.
Comes in. Okay, Fracture is kind of the design that's on here.
It's
this
the design.
darker color.
It's just like our Fracture Red,
Yes.
Fracture Chartreuse, and Fracture Blue Ranger bags,
And so we got Fracture Blue, Fracture Chartreuse, which I believe this
which is this right
right
here.
here. And then we got Fracture Orange, Fracture Pink, and Fracture Red.
Nice.
And this bag only costs you $14.99.
That's ridiculous.
Come on.
$14.99.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a
And this
very
bag
nice
is not your typical $14, $15 bag either. I mean, this thing is well put together, and it's going to last a while.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I want one just for when you want to grab a few discs and go out there and you don't want your whole setup.
Or put your camera in there.
Or my camera.
Ooh.
All right. So the next one.
The next bag. Is it a bag? It better be. Ooh,
The
blue.
soldier bag.
Blue, yeah. That thing is pretty. Look at this.
Look at that.
Sorry for you people listening to the
Oh yeah, to the podcast.
podcast. And
We'll
can't
try to
hear it.
describe it as best we can. So this is kind of a. How would you describe it? I mean, it's
More of a duffel bag
duffel style, yeah. So it's a duffel style bag, and the lid, of course, like the cadet had, has a little zipper pouch.
Yep.
Show all the YouTube people, so you can put your cell phone or snacks or something in there, and it's got a mesh, or a mesh enclosure for it.
And this will hold probably 20 to 23 discs, which is quite a bit. I mean, that's a
Yes.
lot of that's more than you need on
And then
any given course.
You've got a drink holder here, and then some more stuff for a golden retriever,
Yep.
birdie bag, snacks, and then on the other side,
And by birdie bag, you mean dirt bag.
yes, but dirt bag, just in case people don't understand. Yeah, that's a good. That's good. Yeah, dirt bag. So if your palms get sweaty, you can use dirt bag to kinda
Or if
help
it's
dry 'em up.
raining.
Or if it's raining, and then you've got another spot for water
You
or
have
your drink.
more or less 2 drink holders
Yep.
on this bag,
And
which
then
is
another
awesome.
another side pouch here for more dirt bags.
There's a lot of storage in this thing. It's pretty amazing. something else that's not on here that we didn't bring in, I'm not sure why, but
Because I forgot.
yeah, but that's okay. With this bag, you can also purchase straps to match them. And we have the 5 different color straps as well that match the soldier bag and the cadet bag as well. And there's say those colors again one more time.
There's
blue,
fracture blue, fracture red, fracture pink, fracture chartreuse, and fracture
orange. Those are some pretty cool colors. And I mean, it just pops. It's really nice, well put together. I might just get one of these bags too, just to carry around. And how much
would you pay?
Is this? And it's a great bag. It's like a duffel style, and it's not that expensive.
This one is online and ready for you at $49.99.
What? That's crazy.
$50.
$50 for a great bag.
Discs are not included, even though these are some sweet-looking blue discs.
Yeah, they are. Blue, yeah.
Blue, yeah. So, anyway, so we're excited. I know we're kind of being silly with these, but we are actually very excited.
Yes.
These are some really cool bags that a lot of people, they don't quite want to make the investment of a Ranger bag. I don't know why.
Or a Commander bag.
Or a Commander bag. They just want a nice, cool-looking bag that they can take it on the course and put a bunch of their discs in, and that's definitely what this is going to fill.
And in the straps themselves, you don't have to get the straps. I mean, you can buy just the bag, and it comes with a single strap if you like that.
So you can just do over the shoulder.
I believe our straps are $20 or something along those lines.
20 or 25.
Something like that. Yeah, not too bad for the matching straps. So
$24.99.
You're looking to spend what, $75 total for a whole
nice
setup.
bag.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Cool.
I'd say that's pretty good.
All right.
So check those out at dynamicdiscs.com.
All right, so you ready for the questions?
Yeah.
Let's move on to
I am.
Of course, we never did really talk about what we did.
Oh, yeah. What did you do this weekend?
Let's see. I went home, and I did a little dance move for the YouTube people. Not sure why I did that. Sorry. I got allergies. So I came back and have allergies. But I went home to Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and spent time with the family, which was really nice. Got to go to church and then do the
Easter Sunday
brunch with everybody. It was really good. Some good home cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really good family time. What about you?
I actually, let's see, Friday? All last week I got out and played some golf, and I played great all week. Denise and I went out and played some scoring rounds on the East Course and got it looking good and ready to go for the GBO. And so I've been playing great, and then I decided, hey, I'm going to go up and play this, one-day beats here up in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
What happened?
It was the longest disc golf day.
Really?
Ever. We played first. We had a player meeting at 8 o'clock, and so we have 2 dogs, of course, so we ended up leaving that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we got up at like 5:15 and got on the road. Got to Blue Valley. And if you don't know Blue Valley, it is the longest permanent 18-hole course in the world.
Really?
It is over 10,000 feet.
Ouch.
It is super long and tons of elevation. I mean, you've seen Waterworks, right?
Right.
Double the elevation.
Whoa.
So it is huge. It's ridiculous. But so after that, we played Cliff Drive. And Cliff Drive's not an easy walk in the park either. It's a lot of ups and downs out there and treacherous, Cliff Drive, just the name itself.
Yeah.
And the wind was blowing. So it was just, it was a mental, not necessarily breakdown,
right,
but it was mentally struggling the whole day of trying to stay focused all day long. And I played okay. I shot decent the first round. I was only 2 off the lead. And then I was on the second card. I was like tied for 6, 2 strokes off the lead. So it tells you how many people were tied ahead of me.
Wow.
And I think I ended up finishing 6th place, which wasn't exactly where I wanted to finish, but I was still 2 or 3 strokes out of 3rd place, and only a few more than that off the lead from George Smith came out and won and beat Johnny McRae by 1 stroke. So we had some great players there, and man, I tell you, it was just a long day.
Wow.
Super long day.
Oh, well, you got out there and played some golf, though.
I did, and I was, great. And then yesterday, old Paul Macbeth came through town.
Oh, yeah.
Came by the shop, and we bought our Japan Open tickets.
Nice.
So finally got that taken care of, ready to go. And then we went out and played a round of disc golf last night on the East Course, and I played much better than I have in a long time. And so I'm pretty pumped, getting excited for GBO.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to have Paul Macbeth stop by real quick
Yeah,
on his. he
kind of
was on
like
his
old
way.
times.
He was on his way to where? To
Davenport
Davenport.
for
Yeah.
the Rumble, River City Rumble.
Yeah, so he stopped by and came into the Dynamic Disc shop and talked with Eric, and then went out and played. And I actually went out and yesterday used the quadcopter and filmed hole 7 through 13.
Wow,
And
that's a lot.
the footage looks pretty good, so I'll have that posted here hopefully by tonight or tomorrow.
Nice. I saw a couple pictures, a couple screenshots that you did that look pretty cool.
Yeah,
Park looks amazing right now.
It does. It looks so nice.
All those redbud trees blooming, purple, and
grass is turning green and
it's-
everything. So it's going to look good for Glass Blown Open for sure.
Yes.
I was going to mention something else and I forgot what it was.
GBO.
Was it GBO?
GBO.
Okay, so the GBO Glass Blown Open's coming up in a weekend, 2 weeks.
A little under 2 weeks.
A little under 2 weeks. It's amazing.
Yeah.
One thing we want to make sure, like I think we mentioned it last time, make sure we encourage people to check out the putting championships.
Oh yeah.
$1,000 cash for the pro division and $500 merchandise for the amateur division.
That's amazing. And what's awesome is you don't even have to be playing in the tournament to compete for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if you're just coming to watch a buddy or just to hang out, you can still do the putting championships and get your chance at some nice cash or merchandise.
Yes, yes.
And the other thing is to make sure if you're trying to figure out how you're staying here or whatnot, the hotels have plenty of rooms still. At least that's what I was told. So make sure when you call a hotel, you tell them that you are coming for the Glass Blown Open so that they can know to give you those specific rooms.
And one other thing that we got word today is camping at Jones Park.
Oh, I didn't hear that. What's that?
So people are allowed. In the years past, we've let people do this. And, we don't want to get in too crazy. Like, you can't don't pull your truck into the grass and, build bonfires or anything like that. But, there's going to be a specific area for you guys to camp, set up some tents and whatnot. And, we're just trying to help you guys save a couple extra bucks.
Nice, good deal.
Yeah, and the weather should be pretty decent. I've been looking at the extended forecast, and right now it's looking like, upper 60s and sunny, so let's just hope it stays like that.
Let's hope it stays like that.
Can you believe the wind lately?
The wind has been windy.
No. The last 2 days it's been non-existent.
Oh, yeah. Well, compared to normal,
Yeah. Compared to the 40 to 50 mile an hour.
Yes.
Woo.
Yeah, it will not be like what was that video of the guy where
the wind putt.
The wind putt. You guys need to look up the Glass Blown Open wind putts. Yeah, hilarious video.
It's awesome.
One other thing that, maybe I don't.
What?
Well, you were talking about just flying overseas.
Oh, maybe.
Should I say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Say it. Say it.
I am going to be flying to Sweden. To film and do photography for the European Masters in
be
Sweden.
Awesome.
I tell you what, when I found that out, I about jumped out of my chair out of excitement.
Oh, I'm sure.
That is so cool.
Yes.
So Latitude 64 is having me come down there to help cover that, and then I'm going to do some cool things with them out at the Swedish factory.
That's going to be fun.
I can't even say the name of the town.
Skellefteå. Kind of like She Left Ya.
Oh.
Oh.
Skellefteå.
It's going to be, I'm sure somebody right now is watching us completely. We're butchering it.
I know.
It's all right.
So anyway, I'm very excited about doing that, and that is just so cool.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun. I'm very excited to have you over there, especially checking out the Stockholm course.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
It's a great little park.
I'll get the quadcopter out.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the questions. What do you say?
All right.
All right, so the first one is from Eric, and this is kind of left over from last week. Remember we told him we'd answer more questions.
Oh, yeah.
So and you kind of did answer the question how the Claymore compares to the core instability. But I didn't know if you wanted to kind of...
Yeah, we can touch base on it a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and read the question for people that are...
Yeah, hello, Eric, and... Yeah, I'm sorry. He says, hello, Eric and Bobby. My question, how is the Claymore compared to the core instability? And the Claymore, again, is from the Trilogy Challenge disc.
Yes, and the core is a Latitude 64 mid-range. It's been out for quite a long time. It's the disc that I was actually throwing before the Truth came out.
Oh.
So, the core and the Claymore they're similar in feel and in flight, I would say. But I'm gonna say that the Claymore is just a touch more overstable and a little bit more predictable just because of the rim. The core itself is more of a rounded disc. It's got kind of more of a rounded feel to it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit less stable, but the Claymore is definitely going to be a little bit more.
Cool. All right, the next one is from Michael. Michael says, I just recently got my hands on a Moonshine Truth, and I love it. Will DD ever produce a stock stamp Moonshine Truth?
Well,
or is the Lucid Plastic close enough?
Well, the Lucid Plastic's close enough. No, I'm kidding. That's funny because I'm pretty sure I can say this.
Oh, gosh.
It's one of these things, again, you never know.
You guys, one of these times you're going to watch an episode and you're never going to see another episode because we got canned for
and
saying
then Bobby
things
and I
we
are just going to be disappeared from the
Yeah.
face of the earth.
Yeah.
And, no, we got a box in on one of the pallets, and there were some stock stamp Moonshine Truths on it, and some stock stamp Moonshine Truths on it. So I'm just assuming that eventually we'll have them out. Right now, they're only available as a TFR, which is our tournament fundraiser disc.
Okay.
But I would definitely say maybe midsummer we'll be looking to release some of those with a stock stamp.
Cool. All right, the next one is from Steve, and Steve says, hello again from Atlantic, Canada.
Nice.
Presently, there is a snowstorm happening outside my window. Serious, not joking, no fun. And there is still 2 feet of snow under the first basket at our local course. Whoa. Hoping spring disc golf will start soon. I'm taking your advice and I'm clubbing down this season. The plan is to throw lots and lots of mid-ranges this summer. To that end, I'm loading my bag with rocks, since that is what I've thrown for years. However, I want to diversify and wanted to know what you would suggest for a great mid-range for a 15-year vet of the sport. I was thinking of the Latitude 64 Pains, since it is their most overstable mid-range. However, what would you suggest? Thanks, and looking forward to the end of winter.
Well,
what mid-range do you
don't
think Eric would recommend?
Which one? Now, that's honestly one of the great things about the Truth. It's so easy to throw. Anybody can throw it, and they hold any line you can throw them on. So, I definitely recommend you checking out some Truths. And if you like the way the rock feels, the Truth doesn't necessarily have a bead on it. So if you really like that bead, I wouldn't suggest a Pain as much as I would suggest maybe a Mace. Because it has that similar feel to it, and it's got a bigger bead on it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking for overstable, I want to suggest the Verdict,
Okay.
the Dynamic Disc Verdict, because it is our overstable mid-range, and it's a great flying disc.
Nice.
And it is overstable, so I would check out the Truth and the Verdict.
Cool. All right, the next one is from JB Mean. He says, first, I love my first run Fugitive. It's beat in and has become my understable answer for shots around 200 feet. Thank you for helping me avoid a forehand shot a little while longer. My question is, how do you deal with shorter tee pads that do not share the same altitude as the surrounding area?
So basically, they're short tee pads that are standing up on the that aren't sunken into the ground or have dirt around them. I don't like short tee pads at all. But usually, you just kind of got to deal with it almost. And if it's a tournament you're playing there, maybe you can suggest to the TD. I know when we put in, or when our good friend Brian Lamoureux put in the course down at Cedar Hill, the place put in some awkward tee pads that he wasn't really too thrilled with, and he's working on fixing those. But they're shorter, and for tournament time, he just lets people tee off next to him.
Yeah.
Which I think all TDs should do. If it's a nasty tee pad, let them tee off to the side, because you don't want anybody getting injured on your course and all that. But as far as if you have to throw from it, just shorten up your steps, and you'd be able to take just 1 or 2 steps, and you should be just fine.
Now I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but you can't go beyond the tee pad,
Correct.
but you can always run up from behind it, right?
That is correct.
Right. So if you need more of the ground or whatever, you can run behind it and then onto the tee pad.
It's kind of awkward, I know, in that situation, running up from behind and having to step up to tee, because you are getting more distance, but you get more distance into the distance. Does that make sense?
I think so.
You're getting more power trying for a run up, but then you gotta, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, don't trip over this tee pad.
Right.
So
All right, the next one is from Taylor, and Taylor says, "Any tips on putting uphill while standing on an incline? I seem to have trouble doing this."
That's one of the hardest putts ever. I think downhill putts are pretty difficult as well, but an uphill putt, what I always do is aim high and then putt higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll aim at some of the top chains and then try to let it go a little bit higher. I'll aim at the number plate or just above the basket, and then it'll come in because you don't want to miss low, because usually when you miss low, it'll hit and roll right back to you or past you.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, so I would just try to aim a little higher and putt high.
Cool. All right, the next one is from Matt, and Matt says, "First off, thanks EMAC and Bobby for taking the time and effort to do the show. My question is about the Ranger bag. I have a Ranger bag, which I love, and it seems that the popularity of the bag is growing rapidly among the top-tiered backpacks. Other top-tier backpack bags come with a rain fly for rainy weather. Are there any plans for Didi to produce a rain fly for the Ranger? I haven't played in the rain yet, but I'm sure EMAC has played in it, so maybe he could weigh in. Thanks, guys."
Well, I remember us talking about them, getting some rain flies for them or some form of waterproofing on it, and I know we got a sample in, and it was just kind of awkward, and I think it covered the straps, so anytime you took it off, you'd have to take it off and then put it. So it was just kind of weird. So and then we never really went past that, and I think it was just for the thought of how well built the Ranger bag actually is with the zipper case around the actual discs. So, and I have played in the rain with it, and everything stayed pretty dry as any other thing. Which, the grip bag, when I used to carry it, I never liked the rain fly on it because I would always have to unsnap it, pull it back, get my disc out, snap it back, pull it off. I never liked that, and I always, and that's the beauty of the Ranger bag as well. It's got the little pocket for the umbrella or a stool. If it looks like rain, I throw an umbrella in there. You don't even know it's there most of the time. And if you just keep your Ranger bag under it, it seems to stay pretty dry. And I can't speak for the guys and say that we're never going to come out with one. It's just right now we've got so much on the plate, with all the stuff, exciting news and exciting stuff coming out, that's kind of somewhat on the back burner, so to speak.
That makes sense.
But another tip for you on the Ranger bags is take your putters from the outside pocket if it's raining, and take out 2 or 3 discs that you're usually not using, because if it's raining, you kind of get into using the same disc and just trying to keep it simple in the fairways.
Right.
Take out a couple discs that you're not going to use, put those outside in the putter pocket, and put your putters actually inside the bag.
Oh, well, yeah.
So they stay nice and dry for you, and get a dirt bag.
Get a dirt bag.
Or
a birdie bag.
No, get a dirt bag.
Whatever you call it.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is from John, and John says, "Hey, guys, thanks as always for the podcast. Look forward to it every week. This is for either or both of you. Just wondering if you could tell me briefly about what all these different competitions I hear about are. I know what a CTP is, but how does a putting competition work? What are bag tags, and ace race, and dirty dollars, and any others you can think of? Sorry it's a long question to answer, but I've tried to Google it and get nothing. Ha ha. Thanks for all you do, and congrats to Eric on the 3rd place finish in Texas."
Well, thank you.
All right, so what is a putting how does a putting competition work?
There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but I'll explain how we do it here in Emporia for the Glass
We like
Blown
to
Open.
give $1,000 cash.
That's what we like to do. I don't know of any other type of putting contest that you wouldn't, first place $1,000. Come on. But usually how it works is we have a basket, and we have 3 stations, and we have 5 putters at each station. All 4 of the putters at each station are one color.
Right.
All maybe white. And then the money putter, sometimes it's yellow, whatever. It's a different color. Yeah. And there's one of those at each, and it's worth double. So you're timed. I think it's 2 minutes?
Is it 2 minutes
or maybe it's in 1 minute? You have plenty of time.
Right.
With me, the way I putt on those putting contests, I have so much time left over, I could probably do it twice.
Right.
But you start, anywhere. You can start in the back. Most people start up front, and you just putt. Putt from the first station's probably 10 feet?
Yeah.
And then it goes back to 15 feet, and then it goes back to 20, 25 feet. And you just add up the points, and whoever has the most wins. I mean, it's that game is pretty simple as far as that goes. I've seen other putting games. USDGC does a ring of, it's kind of like a ring of fire where they have, I think it's 4 or 5 different stations, and they have similar. It's 5 at each, but it's timed, and it's speed putting, so it's a lot faster. You have to really get through the games, or you can play horse or
You're
putt like frisbee or disc like we play. It's just like horse, just like in basketball. So there's really no right or wrong way to play a putting game.
And I know with the first scenario that you mentioned, where it's the 3 stations for the GBOs, to make the finale even more interesting. Like, what was the name of the bar or the club that we had it at? And what was the name of that place?
Oh, right over here?
Yeah.
Desperados?
Yes. And we had, like, the basket was in the middle, and then there was one point you were on the stairs to the stage, and then you were on the
a long putt, and then up in the balcony.
Up in the balcony. So just to make it interesting, they did that. So that was kind of cool. So yeah.
So that's what putting game is. What was it? Bag tags.
Bag tags.
Bag tags are there's different ways to do bag tags. I know a lot of people just have simple bag tags to represent companies on their bags.
Right.
Just a simple bag tag. But to play bag tags, typically, you buy in, whether it's 5, 10, 15, however much it costs. You get a bag tag with a number on it, and you go out and you can challenge other players, which is a great idea. It's for people who don't have time to play tournaments, or just can't really necessarily maybe afford to go out and play tournaments every week.
Right.
They can get involved and get a bag tag, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember, like, yeah, you'd pay, and then you'd have a number, and so you'd have, like, they would sell 75 bag tags, 1 through 75, and so I would buy it, and I would get number 13, and then if I'm playing in a local tournament and 2 other guys that are on my card have bag tags, then we would play for bag tags, and we would play to whoever got the best score on that card got the lowest number
of your 3.
And then at the end, sometimes clubs will do it a year time. So at the end of the year, if you've got bag tag 1 through 5 or 1 through 10,
they get a special prize.
Right, they get prize.
And I believe there's stipulations, so you can't just get number 1 and then run away and hide.
You better not.
I know a lot of clubs, though. You have to accept a challenge. On the 3rd challenge, you have to accept it if it's within 5 numbers of your number. So it just kind of keeps people from getting that number 1 spot and running away.
All right, and so then he says, what's an ace race?
Well, an ace race is a lot of different things. Discraft actually, I think, started the ace race with they come out with a new disc, and you host an event, or you could just go out, like our leagues here in town have an ace race league almost, where you go out and you pay $5 and you just go out and you don't worry about score at all. You just go try to ace. So it's typically really short holes. I think the ace race is 85 feet to the longest one can be 220 feet or something like that. Pretty short holes, and you go out and you get points for medal hits, and you get so many points for an ace. So, and then after the day, the winner that had the most aces wins.
And then he says, what is dirty dollars?
That I don't know.
That's
that sounds
when you
bad.
drop your money in a pile of mud.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Sorry, John. I have no idea what dirty dollars is.
I don't think I've heard dirty dollars. Maybe somebody on the page can tell us what dirty dollars are.
Or if you're watching the YouTube channel, tell us what dirty dollars is. Put it in a comment, and we'll check those comments after these questions. So, all right. So let's move on to the next one. Let's see. This is from. He says his first name is @13collie.
Right.
So he says, after watching several videos of pro players' drives, I noticed some of them, parentheses EMAC, grabbing the disc with their left hand and flexing or holding the disc on their reach back. Is this just a comfort thing, or is there something behind this action? Reason I ask is because sometimes my left hand has a mind of its own, but most of the time I drive similar to Garrett Gurthey, where my drive hand goes under my left arm on my reach back. Should I stick with this or try something new? Thanks for all you do.
Well, if it's working for you, keep doing it.
Yeah.
But if the times that you see that you're reaching under, that's not a technique that I recommend doing. I'm not sure to this day how Double G can do it. But, I mean, he does it, and he throws it a mile. So, I mean, it works for him. It may work for you. But when I teach, I try to stress to keep the arm down to the side. And for me, when I grab the disc, I don't even know I do it. It's just, I don't know if it's a comfort thing or if it's just something that happens. I don't even think about it anymore. If I look at my video of me throwing, then I'll see it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I do that. But it comes second nature almost now. It's just kind of a form that's you just do. So. But something I'd recommend if it's something that you want to not do when you go out and practice your shots in the field is put your left hand in your pocket.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
You put your left hand in your pocket, and that just creates, you can't get your disc, your left hand, the disc underneath your left arm. So if you have it in your pocket, it just keeps it nice and straight, and then it overall will, you won't have those bad habits.
Right.
Not saying they're bad habits, but if it's something you want to change, it's something I would recommend trying to do.
I remember one time, if I seem to remember, it was me, you, Jeremy Taylor, and I can't remember who else. And you actually told him, you didn't do the hand in the pocket thing, but you told him to put your arm down straight. And I remember him saying that helped improve his throw a lot. So definitely good advice. So. All right, the next one is from Anthony. Anthony says, now that summer is approaching and the temperatures are rising, is it safe to leave your discs in your car? That's a good question. Do you think it can get hot enough in your car? If you live in a high heat area, that will cause your discs to warp. So would the heat cause your discs to warp?
Well, not if you live up in the Atlantic Canadian region where they still have 2 feet of snow on the ground.
Yeah, you're safe.
I definitely recommend bringing your discs into the house for multiple reasons. Not just getting too hot, but what if your car gets broken into?
Right.
Somebody could steal your bag of discs. You don't want that. I always sit. Usually, I always take my discs in the house.
It seems to be that room temperature is the best. I mean, especially if you have a tournament the next day.
Yes.
You want those at room temperatures because you don't want the heat to warp them, and then if it's cold, you don't want the plastic to be super rigid and cold.
Yeah, and then the next morning when you grab it, it's like, gosh, this feels so cold.
Yeah.
Or so hot and gummy. I don't like that. So yeah, I would definitely recommend bringing your bags in.
All right, the next one is from.
Is this the
Dr. Blam? I think it is. All right, this is from Dr. Blam, and he says, "Dearest Breeze and Cheese."
Nice.
As in mac and cheese.
I like it.
No. This may be another question that requires a disclaimer. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
All right, let's go ahead and do it before he says anything. Okay, so just in case, if the question he is going to ask, to you guys understand, listening and viewing, that the opinions expressed on the disc golf instrument are of myself and of Eric McCabe's, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or any other members of the staff.
Yes.
So he says, I noticed that some of the legacy discs are exactly the same mold as some of the Innova classics, like the T-Bird and Rock. I know they probably have legal rights to do those molds, but I wondered your thoughts on this. If it was legal for Dynamic Disc to release the Buzz in Lucid, would you want that? Then he says, thanks, babies, and thanks for listening. Thanks, listeners, for having a faux blam-free week last week. So no imposters. So what do you think? What's your opinion about legacy discs and how they look and feel like T-Birds and Rocks?
Well, I know Stevie Rico really well. And I know he threw the T-Bird and Rock and Magnets and other discs a lot, and I know he loved them a lot. And they sell, So I don't necessarily think that he went out and got a T-Bird necessarily in a Rock or any other disc and cut it in half and said, I want this.
Right.
I don't believe that one bit, but I really don't know. I really that's a tough question because I can only see and comment really on what we do here.
Right.
And whatever Legacy does is essentially, their decision, and I can't 100% say that they did this or they didn't do this, but I'm not necessarily for or against it.
Yeah. So what about his second part where he says if it was legal for Dynamic Disc to release the Buzz and Lucid, would you want that?
I have to be honest, and if you would have asked me that question 1 year ago, I probably would have said, yes, please. But now that I've grown accustomed to a truth and throwing the truth, and the way the truth actually feels in my hand feels perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I love the flight, I love the feel, and I got to be honest, I felt a buzz the other day because I mean, of course, I've still got some in my collection here
Right.
and there, and I felt one, and I'm like, wow, this thing feels boxy.
Oh wow.
You know, because
Mhm.
the truth has got more of a little bit of a rounded edge on it, and it's easier in my hand, and the buzz honestly didn't feel like I wanted it to.
Wow.
So I mean that's a good thing, I guess,
Yeah.
because you know I can't throw it. Or I guess I could if I really wanted to, but you know I choose not to. But yeah, I don't think that's a big deal.
No, I don't. You know, I don't. Would we make a buzz? Would we just slap our name on a buzz if we could, or make it in lucid? I don't think so. I mean,
No.
though the purpose of, or I would think one of the purposes is to create our own discs, is to create our own discs.
Yes.
To
Unique.
Yeah, our unique discs, you know, that are unique to us. Now, yeah, they're going to be very similar.
Well, I mean, there's no way not to be similar these days. With I mean, how many discs are out there?
Right.
You know, it's impossible now to not have a disc similar. And every new disc that comes out, everybody's got to be like, oh, it's a blah blah blah,
Right.
or it's a more stable blah blah. You know, it's the only way to really truly let people know how it is.
Right.
So I mean, that's just kind of the way it is now with
And
as many discs that are out there.
Something that I noticed is a lot of the different characteristics of discs also comes from the plastic
Yeah.
that's used.
Yeah.
So one company may have a source of plastic they get, and it may cause their disc to fly certain ways. So
Yes.
even though they're very similarly shaped than other ones. So
Yeah. A lot of it is the plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is from @13Collie again, and he says, I've never been a good mid-range thrower and consistently try to work in my truth every round/practice, but have little success. During play, I mostly use my XXX as my short-range disc. What are some tips when throwing my truth? For example, spin, power, height, and angle of the throw.
Nice. Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with throwing a triple X or a Trident or something like that that's overstable for your approach disc. You know, starting out because it's a lot easier to do that because they're more predictable flights until you have full control over the disc. And as far as throwing the disc, the truth, how I'd recommend it is not with a lot of power, because you don't need a lot of power to get these things to go. Is just throw it nice and easy and flat, just like I've told you in the past, Bobby. Just nice and easy and flat. Let the truth do the work.
Let the truth do the work, and the truth shall set you free.
Yes.
Next question is from Anthony. Anthony says, I've been having a weird problem for a while now. I've got plenty of power and snap, but the distance isn't there. My main distance drivers are destroyers, but I have a trespass I've been messing around with as well. I can throw them with hyzer and they'll flip up no problem. I can even get the trespass to flip up, turn over, and give me a good S flight. But I max out around 390. I throw about 375 consistently. I've got a friend who doesn't have as much power as me. When he throws my destroyers, they don't even start to flip up, but he can throw 340 to 350. This year I want to break that 400-foot barrier. I know it's a very first world problem, but what am I doing wrong?
You're not doing anything wrong, really. It doesn't sound like you're doing anything wrong. It sounds like maybe go out and get a couple other different discs to test out to try. I know this is a perfect example of Denise. She was trying the air trespass for so long, and that was her main distance driver for so long. And then finally, actually, she played with Andrea Myers. Mm-hmm. She's a fellow DD team member, and she was throwing the Havoc all day long, just smashing the Havoc. And Denise was like, wow, I should try that. And I'd secretly been telling, not secretly, but been telling her, maybe you should try a Havoc out, maybe try it. But then, it took Andrea to tell her, throw a Havoc.
You don't listen to your boyfriend.
No.
He's a 2010 world champion. Why would you listen to him?
He doesn't know anything. But yeah, and then she picked up a Havoc, and she's been ripping it, and she's gotten more distance.
I know she likes it.
And she loves it. She's put like 4 in her bag since then.
Wow.
So maybe you just get out there and try out some other discs, for some more faster, maybe some more distance disc, like the Havoc, because if you're throwing a trespass that S's and comes back, the Havoc's is slightly less stable, so you may be able to get that extra D.
And I know that's something that that was frustrating for me when I was first starting. And I know, Anthony, you're not first starting, but is that I would see other people throw discs, and I would go, "Oh, I have to have that disc," and I'd get it, and I couldn't make it do anything like they were doing, and I would just get so mad and frustrated. And it wasn't until I started exploring other discs that I found out worked better for my throwing style.
To each his own.
To each his own. The next one is from Lynn, and Lynn says, "I'm looking for an overstable distance driver that handles the wind well and doesn't have a very wide rim. Currently, my main drivers are the Flow and the Trident. Is there a disc that would get me the distance of the Flow with the stability of the Trident and doesn't have a wide rim?"
The Enforcer.
The Enforcer.
I think the Enforcer will be your answer. Now, granted, it is very overstable. It's not just stable, but it is very overstable, and it is a not super fast disc, but it's very Trident-like. It's like a longer Trident is kind of a good way to put it, really. So I think maybe come May 6th or whatever the day is that those things come out.
Yeah, whatever the day.
Sometime in May.
Early May.
Get yourself an Enforcer and get out and try it in the wind. That thing is amazing.
Nice. The next one is from Jason, and Jason says, "The views and opinions expressed are those of..." What? Uh-oh, must be a...
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is a... Okay. We got another controversial one here, so he went ahead and plugged in the disclaimer.
I love these. These are my favorite, guys.
All right,
Keep them coming.
Like he said in his question, he says, "The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Eric McCabe and Bobby Brown, a.k.a. Eric and the Breeze."
Eric and the Breeze.
Eric and the Breeze. I'm going
to
get somebody to write a
jingle.
Write us jingle. Eric and the Breeze. Hey, if you're out there in YouTube land or you're out there in podcast land and you can write a jingle, you make us a jingle. Hey, that's...
Or do you have connections to Seth MacFarlane? Because he would do an amazing EMAC in the Breeze or whatever it is. That would be so awesome.
No, let's do a giveaway.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If someone will make us a... Should we say Eric and the Breeze or EMAC and the Breeze?
Eric and the Breeze is what it's always been.
Eric and the Breeze. We want a jingle for Eric and the Breeze, and we will give away... I don't know what we'll give away yet.
We'll come together and decide, and we'll announce what we'll give away next week. Right. It's going to be huge. It'll be
we'll
a good
make it
prize.
Worth your while for sure. So put together a jingle, Eric and the Breeze, and we'll figure out how you can submit it and all that stuff. So, all right. So let's go. Okay. So he says, "Do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Dynamic Disc or its affiliates." Here's his question: As a professional player, I think he's talking about you.
Me? Okay.
Do you agree or disagree with the below statement made by Bill Heddle in the most recent episode of the Local Route when he and Mr. Disc Golf were discussing the new 420 disc? Okay. By the way, just as a side, when you came home last night, that's the podcast I was listening to.
I wondered. Yeah. And
so,
I didn't catch any of that one. Absolutely.
I heard what he said. He said, "We as a disc golf culture need to realize that without the people who did this sort of things, people who smoke pot, make the disc golf world go round in lots of ways. They take care of the courses. They are some of our favorite players. So I think that pretending that it doesn't exist and pretending that disc golf is something that it is not doesn't do anybody any favors. I don't take offense to Vibram's name choice, but with all due respect to Mr. Heddle, I believe it is unwise to pretend that any type of degenerate behavior does anything but stunt the growth of this great sport. Kind regards, Jason Halls, South Fork Disc Golf, Idaho Falls, Idaho." So what say you, Mr. Eric McCabe?
Well,
It's a thinker.
That I was not expecting this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree to an extent and agree to an extent as well.
Okay.
I disagree with the fact that he says, what did he say about, they're the ones that take care of our courses and our sport and blah, 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 blah. But the reason I disagree with that is because I know personally every single person here at DD and how we grow the sport and how none of us are potheads or, none of us here smoke.
Yep.
So I got to disagree with you there because I am the one actually here that takes care of our courses.
Yep.
And I am the one, Bobby is the one as well that's, doing our media stuff and helping our company grow. And we are, we're not picketing every weekend that, say no to pot.
Right.
Nothing like that.
Right.
To each his own. And if you do it, that's great. That's you, but that's just not us. That's not our style. So, I completely disagree with that, but I don't think, going back to the Vibram 420, that Steve Dodge coming out with a disc called the 420 is hurting the sport of disc golf in any way. I think, if anything, I personally feel it could be hurting his company more so than the sport of disc golf.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's naming a disc the 420. I don't think it's going to stunt the growth of disc golf. Was it a good move? I don't agree with the move. I don't agree with the name.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on Bill's show, The Local Route.
I have as well.
And Eric has been on there a couple times.
And I'll be on there again.
Oh, nice.
Well, I mean, eventually.
Oh, okay.
I'm not plugging it or anything right now.
I thought you were telling us you were going to be on. Anyway, so I've talked to Bill, and I listen to the podcast on a regular basis, and so I respect their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the way I think about it, and like Eric has mentioned before, it's what?
Mike Solt just texted me.
Uh-oh.
Local route causing a stir.
Nice. So anyway, so like I said, I respect Bill and Mr. Disc Golf, Mike Solt, who just texted Eric. I totally respect, but I would have to say that all I can worry about is my house.
What we do here.
What we do here.
Right here.
And when I say my house, what I mean is, if you were to come over to my house and we were to have a couple beers, we're good to go. If you were to bring out a joint and start to smoke it, I'd have to ask you to leave, because it's not what happens in my house. Now, if I'm on a disc golf course or I'm out with some people and I'm at a party and they start smoking weed, I'll probably politely just kind of tell everybody I've got to go, because I don't want to explain to my wife why I'm in jail because these people were smoking pot around me.
Unless you're in Colorado?
Unless I'm in Colorado, obviously. So all I can do is I can say what I do in my house,
mm-hmm.
and that is I don't allow that type of activity in my house.
Yeah.
Now, whether I say the people that, yes, of course there's people that I've probably taken pictures of, I've congratulated, I've told them I love what they do for the sport, and they probably smoke pot. But that's the choice they make, and as long as they don't throw it in my face, then I can't. There's not much I can do about it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not going to buy a Vibram disc because I'm Dynamic Discs. But if I wasn't Dynamic Discs, I would still choose to say I'm not going to buy that disc, even if it is a good disc. I'm still not going to buy it just because of the name, because of what it represents.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I got to say, I'm honestly surprised that the PDGA allowed that disc to be approved.
Yeah.
I mean,
it would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall to hear that debate. I'm sure that was kind of.
I'm sure there was a nice debate about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
maybe we'll have Bill and Mike.
Mike, I know you're listening.
We can have a what would the word be? A consortium or a panel of podcasters discussing and debating this topic.
Let's do this.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next question. Hold on just a second. The next one is from Zach, and Zach says, "Hey guys, I've been thinking about adding a mid-range to my bag lately, and you guys talk about the truth all the time." Yes, we do.
I wonder why.
I already throw a rock and buzz, and wanted to know how the truth compared to these discs. Thanks, guys, and keep up the good work.
I would say it's perfectly in between. It does whatever both of them will do, only better.
There you go.
No. In comparison, that's kind of crazy. I don't really know too many people that have an actual rock and a buzz in their bag, but it's pretty similar in flight to either one of them. I can't really compare it to a rock because I haven't thrown a rock in probably 12 years. So, and back then they were the flat top Ching rocks that I used to throw, and then of course I was with Discraft for 10 years, so I threw the buzz a lot. And comparing the truth to a buzz, I would say a little faster and a little longer.
Cool. All right, the next one is from Trace, and Trace says, Granted you didn't lose any discs during the round, how few discs do you think you could carry on the average course and still shoot a score that you would be happy with?
Depends on the course, really. I've gone out and shot some of my best golf ever with 5 discs, in a cadet bag.
In a cadet bag.
No, it's it just course varies. If you're playing a really tight wooded course with all different kind of lines on it, then you're going to need more discs. But if you're playing more of an open course, kind of like what we have around here, I could take out 4 or 5 discs and probably shoot the same score that I do if I have my whole bag of 20 to 24.
Right.
And it's just mental.
That's what I'm saying. It's
honestly,
just a mental
you can
thing.
throw one disc pretty much anywhere you want it to. So
Yeah. He said, okay, next one is from Simon, and Simon says, keep up the good work. You have announced earlier that there will be some sort of gathering in an auditorium for the GBO where some pro players answer questions.
yes.
If this is correct, will that be posted on YouTube or CDSB webpage for me to enjoy and hopefully learn something more about players and their thought of disc golf?
Cool.
And not so much of a question, but more of a demand. I have never seen you, Mr. McCabe, without some sort of cap or beanie. Would that be possible, and why is that?
It's like my signature. So no.
Okay.
No, but for the pro panel, yes, we are doing a pro panel at the GBO, and will it be on YouTube? Yes.
Yes.
It will be live on YouTube.
In fact, I'm going to go there tomorrow and double test. I'm going to go
Double
test.
check.
I'm going to go test to make sure it'll work at the Granada Theater, and if all things work out, it will be live here on the Dynamic Disc YouTube channel.
And we've got some really great players, and I have actually got confirmation from all of them. They were all willing to do it, and it's going to be amazing.
And what were the name?
They are Avery Jenkins.
Nice.
They are Kale Leviska.
Awesome.
They are David Feldberg.
Cool.
Eric McCabe.
Woohoo.
And I think that's it, right? Is there one more? Am I missing somebody? Paul Macbeth?
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Macbeth. My good buddy, Paul.
Of course.
Sorry,
He'll be
Paul.
there.
Yeah.
And someone else. Jeremy Rusko.
Who?
Jeremy Rusko.
Yeah, of course. Jeremy Rusko will be there and drill him with questions.
All right. So the next question is, wow, okay. The next one is from Don, and Don says, Dr. Mr. Eric.
All right.
And Mr. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. Have either of you ever become despondent after losing a disc? The first putter I ever bought recently disappeared into the murky waters of a pond and was lost forever. I'm considering counseling. I know the feeling. To deal with the loss of my yellow DX ABR. P.S. Eric, great showing at Rockwall for the Chains tournament against a tough field and bad weather.
Thank you. Absolutely, everybody's lost that favorite disc at one point or another in their careers that they're really upset about, that they can still think about. For me, I know I lost a first-run Buzz with a couple aces on it there in McKinney, Texas, actually, in the creek. And I went back and looked for it and got in like chest-deep water trying to find this thing because I wanted it that bad. And never found it. And then come, 8 years later or something like that, I saw somebody selling it on an auction page. And it looked brand new. So, I mean, it tells me that they found it right away and have just been holding on to it this whole time.
Wow.
So that's, whatever. But, it's fine now. I'm over it now. But, that was definitely one disc that I remember losing that I really liked.
I lost it was a Buzz, and I had my logo on it. Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
CDSB.
And I remember I can't remember where I threw it, but I remember it was in the water, and it was like a huge lake, and there was just no way to get it back, and I was upset. So that's the only one that I was upset about.
It happens. You lose them. That's why there's great companies like Dynamic Discs where you can go and buy them.
All right, the next one is from @13Collie again.
All right.
He said, CDSB, if I wanted to critique my drives, what would be the best camera angle? And then he says, Eric, sometimes I feel like I'm trying to change my game too much. I feel like I'm trying to change too much in my game instead of trying to perfect my game. For instance, when I change something on my drives, I feel like I'm taking 2 steps back. Should I be feeling like I'm backtracking, or is this a part of getting better?
It's kind of like a plateau, so to speak.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through them, and the best way to get through one is work harder. I know that sounds harsh.
You got to kind of work through the plateau.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do. You just need to keep doing what you're doing, and then maybe even add some.
Yeah.
Go out there and spend an extra when you're done, when you feel like you're done, spend an extra 20, 30 minutes out there putting or throwing up shots or drives, whatever the case may be.
And to the question about the best camera angle, the best thing I would do is make sure that the camera is pointing at where you actually open up.
Yes.
I mean, I know it may sound obvious.
Like this camera
Angle where I would be throwing like this, and so that people can see where your arm is, what this arm is doing, and make sure your whole body is in the shot, so we can see what your leg is doing, and then even
I even recommend, getting a couple angles.
Well, that's what I was thinking, even from the back,
Yeah.
to kind of see what your whole body is doing, and I would get about at least 3 throws in.
Mm-hmm.
And then post it on the Facebook group, the Disc Golf Answer Man Facebook group. I know some of you guys are doing that, and people are giving good feedback, and that's
great.
awesome.
It's awesome. Keep it up.
All right, we got a couple more here. We got from, his first name is Wycliffe. I've registered for a tournament when I was rated 874, but now I'm intermediate rated. Should I update my division?
Oh, on the PDGA. Is that what he's saying?
I don't know.
I guess.
I registered for a tournament when I was rated 874, but now I'm intermediate rated. Should I update my division?
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're saying should you update your rating as far as a player goes on the PDGA, then sure. And I would say sure to both of them, whatever I'm thinking here.
Okay.
If you're an 874 rated when you first started, and now you're intermediate rated, which means what, like 920? I think that's what it is. Something like that. I think is what rating you have to be to not play intermediate anymore. Definitely, especially if you're wanting to get better and improve your game, then absolutely move up.
Cool. The next one is from Jared. And Jared says, my question is in regards to a specific disc, the Dynamic Discs Warden. This was the first DD disc that I tried out, and I instantly fell in love with it. The flight path is brilliant, and I can always put it straight at the basket. I use them for both putting and for upshots. My one issue with it, however, is that for some reason when using the Warden, I consistently have issues with hitting the top of the basket or the number plate. If I don't want it to hit the top of the basket, I have to put a ton of force on it to keep the height down. I don't know if it has to do with the glide of the disc that I'm used to, or what it is about this specific putter that always seems to lift up for me and take the disc higher. Before the Warden, I used AVRs, which didn't seem to have the same lift. I also have thought about trying the Judge instead to see if I make the same mistake with it as well. I've used it in max weight consistently since last fall, so I have to put in a lot of practice with it, but something just doesn't seem to be clicking for me. Is there something I should be changing about my putts to help me keep the disc down? Is this something that happens to people with certain putters? If you have any insight on what I could try, I would greatly appreciate it. Love the show. Keep the knowledge bombs coming. Thank you very much, Jared.
That was
It was very winded.
Yeah, absolutely. The Warden is made for glide, and it's glides for days, and that's one of the reasons I don't have it in my bag as a putter. I'll have it in there occasionally for throwing, but I would do the same thing if I didn't commit to the putt. I would miss high because it would have that much glide. It reminds me of the flight of maybe a magnet, something that just kind of stays afloat more than any other disc. As far as trying out a Judge, I would, the Judge is going to be more overstable than the Warden, so you may not necessarily like that. What I've been putting with lately is the Mercy.
Oh, yeah.
And I would recommend maybe if you're looking to change putters, try out a Mercy. It's a great feeling disc. It does have a tiny micro bead on it, and not as much as, like, say, a Judge.
Right.
But the Warden doesn't have any. So if you're looking for something with a small rim and not much of a bead on it, maybe you should try out a Mercy.
Nice. The next one is from Lunchbox, and he says, Bobby and Eric, in a previous episode, you guys talked about the dynamic duel videos back in the day and the possibility of starting those back up again. Has there been any talk of doing another one since that episode? Possibly during the GBO weekend? My disc golf mouth is salivating at the thought. Love the show as always. And then he says, rest in peace, Ultimate Warrior.
Oh.
And I looked it up. I think he died April 8th.
Yeah, he died. I remember him. Yeah. He was, like, young, too.
Yeah.
Well, he's a wrestler, so. But there hasn't been a whole lot of talk about bringing the duels back. I know we kind of joke about it here and there that we should do it, and And GBO would be a great time to get one done, but the problem is how much work we've got at the GBO.
Already, yeah, a lot of stuff
already
going on.
We've got going on.
And a lot of it is availability. I mean, before when we had the dual, before the big shift in people manufacturing and things like that, a lot of the players were under dynamic discs, and so they played a lot of dynamic disc tournaments, and so it was easy to say, okay, at the next Town Lake Pro, whatever, we're going to have a lot of people that are Team DD there, and so we'll be able to do a duel.
And I know one year we did the Team Dynamic Discs first team parked at the GBO.
Yes.
And of course that was kind of before. I mean, I'm not saying the GBO wasn't big then, but it was before it's big and prestigious. Before it's before we shut down downtown.
Right.
So it's very hard to get it done there, but absolutely, I am all for doing these dynamic duels again because I know I've enjoyed them being in the ones that I was involved in, and I would love to see some more of them sometime maybe in Europe. When we go over there, we'll do something
that'd
fun.
Be interesting. The next one is from M. What are some of the best places in Emporia to go eat and hang out at? With the GBO fast approaching, what are the must-go-to places? And then number 2, he says, EMAC, what do you like on your hamburgers besides meat and cheese?
No.
All right.
Mushrooms.
Oh, yeah, you did say the other day you really like mushrooms.
I do. Swiss. What is that?
Mushroom and Swiss?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. As far as places to go in Emporia to eat, the one place I definitely recommend you have to go is Coach's. We go there every Monday night for taco night, and a few of us go there on the weekends too and have a good time. But I definitely recommend going there. He's a great guy. He's always there. And Coach Sinelli is his name, and he was an old football, baseball coach back in high school. He was my gym teacher in high school, and every time we go in there, he's always so excited to see us. And actually, last year when we hosted the World Championships here, he came out in his golf cart, and without us even asking him to, he just came out and said, "What do I need to do? Let me know what to do." And so we were shuffling players back and forth from 18 to 1 at the country club, and he jumped right in and started helping out. So
he's a cool guy.
We want to support those that support us, and Coach's is definitely a place that supports us. So go check out Coach's. It's really close to all the hotels, the mall, Jones Park. It's right down the road from there. And the beauty of it, when you come to town for the Glass One Open, you get a flyer, a booklet that has all the restaurants that support us. So those are the ones we definitely recommend you guys go support.
For sure. And I mean, we've got all the pretty much the signature fast food restaurants and stuff, but there's a couple other little local, of course, plenty of Mexican restaurants.
Oh,
if you
tons.
Like
And there's some
food.
good ones too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And there's a steakhouse, and then everything else.
Chinese
definitely
food.
check out the
There's
Caddy
some
Bar for
really
sure.
good barbecue downtown. Bobby D's barbecue.
Bobby D, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is from T-Bart, and T-Bart says, Bobby and Eric love the show. I'm 32 and have been playing avidly for almost 2 years now. When I first started playing, I adopted the forehand shot for tee and longer range shots to get the distance to compete with the guys I throw with. Currently, my backhand drives now go about as far, sometimes further, and the accuracy is coming along, but out of habit, I continue to throw majority forehand. I noticed that after a round of 18 that my elbow becomes sore. Is there any increased risk of hurting my throwing arm if I continue down this forehand throw? Should I make an effort to convert?
I would say yes. If
Absolutely.
you're already feeling pain in the forehand now in your elbow, I would definitely consider, not necessarily going 100% conversion, but at least toning back a little bit. I know a lot of players that have really thrown out their elbows, or if you're doing it wrong. I just feel like the backhand shot is more fluid for the body, the way the body actually goes, and a forehand just seems like you're putting a lot of power and a lot of force on your arm itself. So
if after a round of 18, if you're feeling it, if you're feeling sore, that is your body telling you it doesn't like what's happening.
Yes.
It's not a good thing. Now, I'm not talking about just, sore and fatigue.
Aches and pains.
Right.
And
I mean,
stuff like
people are
that.
going to get that. But if it's hurting, then yes, your body is saying that, no, this is not good for me, and I don't want you to continue doing it because, so I'm going to send and I'm going to hurt you and make you not doing anymore. So, yes, I
and
definitely.
if your backhand doesn't hurt, then I would definitely recommend getting out there and work. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm sure you can go out and throw a few forehands here and there.
Yeah.
Just not consistently, every hole.
Well, that's it for the questions into the site. We want to thank you guys so much for sending in all your questions. And for the podcast listeners, make sure you go to iTunes and rate and review the show so that we can rank high among those when they're looking for disc golf related information. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we're going to hop over see if there's any questions on the YouTube channel. See if you guys got anything for us. Ooh. All right. I tried the hatchet in my hand and it felt really good. How understable are Underworld and Witness?
The Witness is very understable. It's a very understable driver. I haven't thrown the Underworld too much. Have you thrown that disc at all? The Witness, though, it's for me at least, it's a good roller right out of the bag, right out of the box. And what about for you with the Witness? How does it? Is it pretty understable for you too?
Yes, very well.
You can get it to hold a nice Anheuser line.
And what's weird is I throw the blue one, it'll hold nice and flat, and then it'll come out. The pink one will actually go a little bit more and then come back out, so it'll give me even more of an S curve.
Both in lucid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see, Eric, have you thrown the dagger yet?
I did yesterday.
Oh yeah.
A little bit. It's unique. It's definitely a deep dish putter with a mini bead. It's kind of like between a big bead and a micro bead. It's got a bead on it though. I only threw it a couple times because, like I'd said earlier, that the Mercies are coming out soon. I don't think I actually said that, but the McCabe Mercy is actually going to be coming out very, very soon. And so I was working on those a lot more last night. But I did have one in there, and I was throwing it here and there. It's I still got a little bit more time to work on it. I'll probably throw it a little bit more this week, and we'll report on the dagger next week.
Someone said Dirty Dollars around the Dallas-Fort Worth area is a CTP side bet placed on the tee pad of every hole.
Okay, there you go.
Then someone says, like Liam said, Dirty Dollars are for a CTP on the hole, and it's called Dirty Dollars because everyone that is in the pot throw their dollar on the ground in a pile. Interesting.
That's pretty cool. It wouldn't work around here because the wind would blow them all away.
You'd be saying more words than just Dirty Dollar
Yeah.
if you did that. Okay, that's pretty much it for the questions. Look like
Cool.
everybody just kind of bouncing around saying things, so pretty cool. So, all right, YouTube viewers, thanks again for tuning in, and that's our show. And hopefully next week, let's see. Well, next week is going to be GBO week. We're definitely going to try to throw in a episode.
We're also going to try to have a
special
guest on the show next week. We're not going to say his name because we're not sure if he'll be committed to doing it or not. But I'll talk to him or her. And
heck, maybe we'll see if some pros start showing up early. We'll ask them to be on the show for sure.
Absolutely.
So, okay, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.